afternoon or whatever time it is in the world where you are right now. I am here today to do some algebra substitution. Number one, I will fight like a bear anyone who says, I can't do algebra because it's rubbish. Also, algebra is a huge subject, of which today is only one small part. So again, another opportunity for me to prove to you that you can do a little bit of algebra. Every little bit helps. We learn it procedurally. No one's born doing algebra. I just asked Isabella Rose. No idea how to do algebra at the moment. But one day she will algebraize all over the place. So today we're going to learn about substitution. You're going to see why we substitute, what we substitute, and when we substitute. Without further ado, let's get going. So, we have a starter activity for while I'm going to say some hellos to the wonderful people who are here. And so, let's go straight in. A reminder, send me your work. If you send me your work, send me pictures of your stuff, your pasta pictures, send me pictures of anything you do in your worksheets. I don't know whether you're even doing the worksheets. You say you are, but how do I really truly know? I saw some brilliant pictures yesterday from two of the Sharps and the work they've been doing, so excellent, and I'll be sharing pictures that people send in to me. The more you send me, the more I can share. Here's the starter activity. What is in the cave? It's a mystery starter. 3 clues. It has 4 legs, scales, and can go very high. What is hiding in the cave? You have 45 seconds to come up with some ideas. And I'm going to say good morning to Lily, and obviously Jan, Sophie, and Harry, and Vicky Fallows, and Alicia, and Nina, and Charity, and Harriet, and Evelyn. So, good morning to everyone who's here. Any ideas what it is? Alicia is going for a dragon, 4-legged dragon with scales and can go very high. Any other? Lizard. Sophie's gone for lizard. Nina's gone for a lixard, which it might be a lixard. Sophie's now gone for a dragon. She's changed from lizard to dragon. Any different ideas from lizard or dragon? We've got 10, 15 more seconds. Feel free to pause, obviously, and come up with any more. Snake with legs, actually. Okay. I think a snake with legs is a lizard, but sure, we'll go with that, Nina. I love the way Nina thinks. A gecko or an echo? Or is that gecko? Gecko. That's a gecko with an echo. So here we go. This is what was in the cave. It was a piano! It has 4 legs. It has scales. And it can go very high. And there we go. It can also go very low. So there we go. Anyone who is annoyed by Mr. Harris's silliness, oh well. Today we're going to be going straight into the live whiteboard screen, where I shall be mastering some substitution with you. Now, why do we substitute? Algebra is not just made up letters. It's not using letters just randomly. Algebra is used when we've got a number we don't know, and it could be that the number could stand for anything. Now, because of that, I like to think of it as using it as like an envelope, much like the cave we just had. If you've got an envelope, until you open that envelope, you don't know what is inside. Now, if you imagine this has got money in it, we don't know what's in the envelope until we look inside. So what we do is we give it a letter to stand for the amount that's inside. So if I say 2x, that's 2 lots of whatever's in this envelope. If it's £10, I've got £20. If it's £5, I've got £10. If it's £1, I've got £2. It's 2x. The reason algebra works is because what you're doing is you're saying the letter is how much is in the envelope until we open it and find out. It allows us to do some things where we simulate, well, if I put this in it, I get this out. If I put this in it, I get this out. And that's what substitution is all about. Substitution is taking the thing, for example, 2x plus 3, and saying, well, if x equals 3, I'm going to get 2. And this is me showing you the method I use. I put a bracket and swap the x with the number that we're putting in. We then do 2 3s are 6, plus 3 is 9. So if x is 3, we get 9. Notice there's no y equals here. This is not an equation. This is called an expression because it has no equals. So when x is 3, 2x plus 3 is 9. But 2x plus 3 is not always 9. Because if x was 5, we change. And notice I'm only going to change what I'm substituting. The x is now becoming 5. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 3 is 13. And the whole point of substituting into an expression is that when you change the number that's going in, you change what the expression equals. We can do this with any number. X could also be 2.2. So we're allowing for it to be a decimal as well. All that happens is I change everything that might change. Change my inputs, change what's going to come out. And let's see. 2 times 2.2 is 4.4 plus 3 is 7.4. Just because we've changed our input means the whole thing changes. But notice, it's still 2x plus 3. Whatever you do, the x gets substituted with the numbers. We can also do this with when sometimes, I don't know why that's opened. Sometimes we can do this with more than one letter. For example, A plus 4B minus C. And we might say A equals 5, B equals minus 2. I'm going to get negatives into this very quickly because I want people to realise it's nothing scary. A is 5, so we'll swap it. Plus 4, lots of whatever B is, minus whatever C is. I want to rub those brackets out so that it all looks the same. So we've got A has swapped to there, B swaps to there, and C swaps to there. I put my numbers in now, minus 2 and 3. This makes it 5, and 4 times minus 2, think way back 8 weeks ago when I was doing negatives, is minus 8, and then take away 3, because minus 3. 5 take away 8 is minus 3 more is going to give us minus 6. So that equals minus 6 when these are substituted in. It's always going to be substituting numbers into the equation, into the expression, sorry. So we're substituting by swapping. And notice, I could change what these numbers are and the expression wouldn't change. The only thing that changes is what happens to them. So notice, all that's happening, if I change now to green, A is now 5, B is now 1, C is now 10. We now get 5 plus 4 times 1 minus 10. 5, 4 ones are 4. 5 plus 4 minus 10, I think, is minus 1. So when these are the numbers, we get minus 1 out. Now the worksheet I've given you today to do is linked in the description below the video. And I should be able to just bring it up to show you exactly what you have to do. So if I hopefully very quickly find the, it was in live streaming and it was in transition worksheets, transition resources, there we go. And we want the one without the answers already. So here we have the worksheets we've given you, 8 different questions. And I just thought what I'd do is I'd pick one of these to talk through with you. So let's look at question 4 together. So I'm going to go back to my whiteboard, new slide, and here is the questions. So all I want to do is substitute in here, A equals 2, B equals minus 3, and C equals 8. So when I substitute them in, I'm going to use brackets just while I get them in there. You don't have to use brackets, but what I've done is I've swapped A, B and C with 2 minus 3 and 8. 2 minus 3 add 8, I make that. 2 add 8 is 10, take away 3 is 7. So because all I'm doing is substituting the numbers in. Now, in algebra, AB means A times B. So this is going to swap into being 2 and minus 3. I make that minus 6. 2 times 3 is 6, so 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. I am keeping my eye on the chat in case there's any questions, but it looks like lots of people are coping fine with this and understanding what's going on. So this one is going to be 2 and 8 is 16. Take away minus 3. Now think back to our negatives. When we take away a minus, it's the same as adding. So this is going to be 16 plus 3 minus minus 3. If we take away bad things, it's the same as getting good things. My life becomes better if I take away bad things. So it's going to be 19. And this one, squared means times itself. So this is how I write it. 2, but keep the squared, plus minus 3 squared. Now here's an interesting one. A negative number squared is minus 3 times minus 3. There is no such thing as a negative square number. So this is going to be plus 9 and plus 4 is 13. You cannot have negative square numbers. Why don't we take away 3? Excellent question, Sophie. It's because it doesn't say take away 3. It says take away negative 3. And if I have got some money and I take away debts, think of minus 3 as money I haven't got. It is not taking away 3. It is taking away a debt of 3, which means my money actually goes up if I lose my debts. When you take away negative numbers, you are actually adding. You are not taking away 3. It doesn't anywhere say here. If I look around here, at no place does it say take away 3. It doesn't say take away 3. It says take away minus 3. And when we take away minus 3, we add 3. In the same way as if it said take away 7, we take away 7. But if it says take away minus 7, that means add 7. Because we're taking away a negative. When you minus a minus, it becomes to adding because you're undoing a takeaway. So you're doing the opposite. Okay? Lily, there's something you don't get, but you don't know what it is. It is very difficult for me to help you with something you don't get if you can't tell me. Are you able to tell me whether it's in question A, B, C or D? Because that might at least allow us to work out where you're struggling. Because if you can at least point to which question you're confused on, I'm able to at least help a little bit. Because what I'm trying to do is make sure here that we can substitute numbers in and swap the numbers with the letters that were there. Because obviously the numbers at the top, I could change these. So, excuse me, a little bit sneezy again today. Let's imagine for a second that some evil person came along and said, I want to change these, I don't like them. Change that to a 3, that to a minus 2, and that one to a 4. Soon as we change those, we have to get rid of all of this stuff. Because the input numbers that we need to substitute in have changed, but the method doesn't change. This now becomes 3 minus 2 add 4, which I think is 5. This one, B, this will be good because hopefully this will make sense to you, Lily. AB means A times B. So what we do is we do 3 times minus 2. 3 2s are 6, so 3 minus 2s are minus 6. When you have AB, you just times the two numbers together. You put them in brackets next to each other. Good morning, Katie. And you put the numbers, good morning, Eddie, as well. Put the numbers together, multiply them, and that should help you find out what it equals. This one is, again, we've got an A times a C, so we've got 3 times 4, take away, but just like we had before, Sophie, we've got minus a minus, which is not taking away 2. This does not say take away 2, it says add 2. This is 12, add 2, which is 14. And finally, remember you cannot have negative square numbers. So this is going to be 9 plus 4, not minus 4. You can't have negative square numbers. I don't know who Eddie is suggesting is evil. It must be me. So I'm very lost as to who you think is evil. But maybe he's only at the start of the video, so we don't know. Maybe he's saying maybe he's saying the picture of Ryan Reynolds, who substituted in for me. That's why the picture today. Deadpool or Ryan Reynolds substituted in for Mr. Harris. Stole my baby. So hopefully you can see swapping in. That's all substitution is. It's taking these expressions and swapping the letters with numbers once we know what they are. That's all you're doing. Is each time you just have to remember a couple of rules. AB, that means A times B. Minus A means plus A. So there's a couple of different little rules. But this is not complicated. It is not something that you should go, oh, I can't do it. You are allowed to email me if you get stuck. You're allowed to put comments in the video below. Any comments you put, I will always try and respond to, or unless it's lovely pictures like comments like Alicia's been putting, where she just says, I really enjoyed this video, or I learned a lot from this video. Obviously, there's nothing really to respond to for that, but that's very, very helpful. Who is this person that everyone keeps saying is evil? I'm very confused. Am I evil? Is that what it is? I'm an evil math teacher. Maybe I'm an evil genius, I don't know. Okay, so this is what we've been doing today. It's substitution. We've done about 20 minutes. Now is time for you to go away and do this worksheet. As you can see, there's 8 questions. The answers are there as well in the description. I've tried to make it so you've got lots to do. So there's lots of things for you to go through and have a go at. Swapping letters with numbers. That's what the point is. Trying to swap the letters with the numbers. ABC, which you can see here. ABC means times A, then times it by B, then times it by C. But you'll notice there's no negatives until question 4. So the first, again, if you're only year 5, you might decide just to do question 1, 2 and 3. Now the one I haven't done is line. That's one I haven't done yet. So let's do one with a line, just to make sure everyone's got a good chance of doing this. Here's one with a line. All line means is divide. So let's say A equals 5, B equals 7, and C equals 2. This means 3 5s plus 7 divide by 2. 3 5s are 15, so it means 15 plus 7 over 2. Then we do the 15 over 7, because we've got to do the top bit first before we can do the line. That's 22 over 2, so it would make 11. That's all the line does, is at the end you do a division. So that's where you've got 3 times 5 is 15, plus 7 is 22. That's where you get the 11 from, because you have to divide by the C number. So when you've got a fraction one, just do a division at the end. So that is pretty much everything today. You've got the substitution worksheet. Don't forget you can always do the core but maths 5 a day. And not for Monday the 4th of May. I keep leaving the date there. I keep forgetting to change the date. It's now the 9th of June. So complete the 5 a day for the 9th of June, not for Monday the 4th of May, unless you want to go back and do that one. And then the taskmaster for this week is make the best pasta picture. The more effort, the more points scored. You can either stick pasta to the thing. I recommend not using cooked pasta. It goes soggy. But you can also do, you could do it in Photoshop if you wanted to. As I've been showing, I've been learning some Photoshop skills this morning. And that's where, no, actually, no, I didn't. Alicia was absolutely right. I invited Ryan Reynolds around my house and he has stolen my baby. So, horrible times for me. But I have been Mr. Harris. You haven't. Look after yourselves. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson and learned something about substitution. But you won't make it permanent unless you practice it. So now, stay online. Find the worksheet. Print it off or do it straight onto paper. And then send me photos to show me you doing that work. You've been amazing. I will say goodbye now. Goodbye.